Hi, my name is Jamie, also known as SMG. I'm a DVS graduate who produces drum and bass in kind of the minimal and jump up vein. I was working at TK Maxx full time, so I was doing retail full time. It was only when we went into lockdown, when COVID all kind of kicked off, I went on furlough. And I was producing like every day. I remember I converted this old bedroom into just a studio with mattresses everywhere, and it was just horrible, but amazing at the time. Obviously, I did the Access to HE course because I didn't have any music qualifications at first. I think I could have jumped straight into the uni course, but I felt because I'd learned a lot of what I'd learned was from like YouTube tutorials and stuff like that. It was never kind of like a baseline knowledge. It was really nice to kind of do that Access course and have someone just be like, right, this is this is that, this is whatever, rather than trying to cobweb everything together essentially. Obviously that kind of gave me the confidence to then tackle the uni course. Standout career kind of moments, definitely my Noisia remix I did earlier this year was like a massive opportunity. The whole process of doing a remix for those guys was very different. It was running so in parallel with my uni deadlines. At this time, earlier this year, I was doing my first kind of like international gigs as well. So I was kind of getting used to and that kind of side of stuff. So it was all very like, it was definitely a standout moment, just those months in general, having that as kind of like a focal point. I knew I couldn't really go back and forth about like, you know, say if like some stems were like summed together, I couldn't get them to split that. It's a tune from like 2014. It was kind of better to have that kind of restriction that I knew I couldn't mess around with. What I've got is kind of what I've got. I have to get a draft in by this time. I have to get a final in by this time. It's my second best performing tune, stream-wise anyway, on Spotify. At the time I was kind of doing more club shows here, there and wherever. So I was like, I really want something that I can just play at the kind of like the near end of my set. It's a bit heavier, that will kind of make people go, okay, this is that basically. The critical relationship kind of got cracking from actually a promo send out. I had a 2-track single and I was still kind of very new to the whole tracks going out on promo. And for some reason I was up on this random Sunday at like 7 in the morning, some completely abnormal, just going for a walk, being a bit healthy or whatever. And I had an Instagram DM from Kazra and he was like, got your 2 tunes on Trust on promo, they're sick, can you send me some tunes to play? And I was like, obviously, yeah, like, you know, really chilled out message, but realistically, I'm jumping about all this stuff. And then basically I sent him these tunes to play, and then he was like, right, I'm taking that one, there's your binary. And then we just started working from there pretty much. He played a lot of my tunes at Boomtown that year, which was like a massive thing. And Critical's always been my kind of like favorite label. So it was quite surreal to have the like chance to do stuff with them. I also had the pleasure of playing on their 25 years of Fabric, Critical lineup the other week, which was absolutely insane. Basically, I had an original set time, which was 12 till 1 in room 3. There was one set before me, so the room would have just like kind of opened up. But before this, we all like kind of met up at this pub. Kazra's not there yet. And I get a phone call on WhatsApp and he's like, QZB and Waze have dropped out because all the flights from Amsterdam have been cancelled. Would you be up for filling Waze's 4 till 5 slot in room 2 instead of room 3? And my mates who have driven me down from Southampton, they're like not into drums, don't really go clubbing or anything at all. And yeah, I told them and they were like, oh my God. And there's a photo on my phone of one of my mates asleep upstairs at Fabric at in the 3 till 4 slot. And then my other mate's like here with his head in his hands and I'm kind of sat there with like a Red Bull, just sat here like, ooh. I was only clashing with Particle at that point in main room because they shut room 3 early. And yeah, it was just like, was definitely one of my only moments DJing where I like was up there and I was like, oh my God, one, I'm really nervous, but this is amazing, like, oh my God. The stuff with Sample Genie came about from, I think Simula gave them basically, because he had done a previous thing on Sample Genie, like done a season or provided some videos or whatever, and he put my name forward. And yeah, so it was really cool to kind of feel like because I learned a lot from Sample Genie, especially like, I cannot stress enough, the ability to get kind of like learn stuff from the producers themselves. I've got a couple more videos I think I need to do for them. I've already done 4 and then did a big sample pack that's distributed across the season. Studying at DBS was amazing. It helped me in many kind of areas in and around my music career, basically. What you put in, you got back. Like obviously, especially later on, a lot of timings and deadlines and stuff got very mishmashed and stuff, and it was you know, harder to kind of balance that. But especially when in my first and second year and my foundation year, it was just great. Like especially touching back on what I said about having everything kind of brought down to a level where it was like, this does this is that, was amazing. And then the especially useful stuff I had was all the hardware, like module stuff, the modular stuff. A lot of my releases have still, you know, bass sounds and little effect sounds and stuff from these just long form kind of modular things that at the time I was thinking like, oh, you know, everyone's banging on about doing long form kind of modular stuff and it's cool and I like doing this. It was only when I kind of was applying it to my own kind of like productions later on, I was like, oh my God, this is, and I wouldn't have known about that or how to use any of that without DBS. Being in the same kind of group with so many different individuals who have, you know, interests in different like genres and BPMs and whatever, like it was really nice to kind of like be in a place where you're like, okay, like there's a lot of other people who do the same thing as me here, and it's nice to kind of have that, because going back to Southampton, there wasn't really any of that kind of stuff. The beauty of having, you know, so many different lecturers in so many different kind of fields and, you know, teaching so many different skills was almost a eureka moment kind of in itself, having that confidence in the people who were teaching you. So what I'm looking forward to most in the near future, I've got a remix for Methius, which is coming out on his Emulation X kind of remix EP thing, celebrating 10 years. Yeah, I've got another remix for Overview for T-Man and Exotics. And then yeah, it's on to basically my, because the binary is kind of like an introductory EP to kind of Critical, my first proper Critical EP, which yeah, I'm very excited to kind of get out there.